My sister tried to make me look bad in front of everyone, but it backfired. Siblings fight. That's what people say anyway. They bicker, they steal clothes, they argue about who gets the last slice of pizza. And then 5 minutes later, they're sitting on the same couch, laughing at the same stupid TV show. That's what normal sibling rivalry looks like. My sister Hannah and I were never normal. From as far back as I can remember, Hannah treated life like a competition she couldn't afford to lose. She was only 2 years older, but she wore those 2 years like a crown, using them as an excuse to lord over me whenever she could. If I got good grades, she would point out they weren't as high as hers had been at my age. If I got a new phone, she would remind everyone that she got the first upgrade and I was just copying her. Even in family games, she couldn't just win. She had to make sure I lost. Our parents used to laugh it off. "That's just how siblings are," they'd say, smiling as if her constant digs were some kind of cute quirk. But it wasn't cute to me. It was suffocating. By the time we were both in college, her antics hadn't softened. They'd gotten sharper. And it all came to a head one summer, during a family gathering that was supposed to be about celebration, not sabotage. Every summer, my extended family gathered at my grandparents' big house near the lake. Aunts, uncles, cousins. It was a noisy, chaotic, tradition-packed event. Barbecues, board games, late-night storytelling around the fire pit. Everyone loved it. That particular summer was a big one because my grandparents were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. It wasn't just family this time. It was family and friends, old neighbors, even some people from my grandfather's old job. Dozens of people would be there, all eyes on us as the next generation of the family. Which meant, of course, that Hannah saw it as a stage. A few days before the big party, I overheard her on the phone with one of her friends. She was laughing, her voice dripping with mischief. "Wait until you see this. Everyone's gonna think she's such a mess. She won't even know what hit her." I didn't know what she was talking about at the time, but the venom in her tone told me it wasn't good. It didn't take long to figure out what she had in mind. Hannah had this knack for making herself look like the golden child by tearing me down. If I tripped, she'd laugh louder than anyone else. If I forgot something, she'd make sure to announce it so the whole room knew. This time, she was upping her game. The anniversary party had a section where grandkids were supposed to give little speeches. Short, sweet memories about grandma and grandpa. Nothing too serious. Just heartfelt moments and funny stories. I'd prepared mine carefully. It wasn't long. Just a couple of minutes about how Grandpa used to take me fishing at the lake and how Grandma taught me to bake cookies that always burned on the bottom because I was impatient. It was personal, warm, and genuine. But Hannah had decided she was going to turn that moment into my humiliation. The night before the party, she accidentally walked into my room while I was reviewing my note cards. "Oh, are you still working on that?" she said, her tone sweet as poison. "Don't worry. Nobody will care if you mess up. They'll just remember me." She winked and left, humming to herself. Something in my gut twisted. I knew she was planning something. The day of the party arrived. The backyard was decked out with balloons, lights strung between trees, tables groaning under the weight of food. Music played softly while people mingled, laughed, and toasted to 50 years of love and loyalty. When the time came for speeches, all of us grandkids gathered near the front. Hannah was glowing, of course, dressed perfectly, smiling like she was queen of the world. I kept my note cards tucked in my pocket, waiting for my turn. And then it happened. When my name was called, I stepped forward, reaching into my pocket, only to pull out nothing. My cards were gone. Panic surged. I'd left them on the dresser, I was sure of it. But now, in front of 50 people, I had nothing. My mind blanked. My palms sweated. Behind me, I heard it, Hannah's stifled laugh. I glanced at her, and she was smirking, her eyes glittering with triumph. She had taken them. I stumbled through my speech, words jumbled, sentences half-formed. I tried to recall what I'd written, but my brain betrayed me, offering fragments that didn't connect. People smiled politely, but I could feel the awkwardness radiating off them. When I finally sat down, cheeks burning, Hannah took the stage. "Oh, poor thing," she said, pretending to sound sympathetic. "Public speaking's just not for everyone, right?" The crowd chuckled lightly. She launched into her own speech, smooth, rehearsed, full of witty stories and charming delivery. They clapped, they laughed, they cheered. She looked at me as she bowed slightly, her smile sharp as a blade. I'd never felt so humiliated. That night, lying in bed, I couldn't sleep. Rage churned in my chest. This wasn't just sibling rivalry anymore. This was calculated cruelty. She wanted me to look weak in front of everyone we knew. But what Hannah never understood was this. I learned from her. Every jab, every insult, every little scheme over the years had taught me how she operated, and I realized I could turn it against her. If she wanted to play dirty, I could play smarter. The next morning, while everyone was still buzzing about the party, I started quietly setting the stage. Step 1. Gather information. Hannah was careless with her phone. She often left it lying around unlocked. That morning, while she was in the shower, I slipped into her room. Sure enough, her phone was on the nightstand. I didn't snoop too deep, just enough to confirm what I suspected. Group chats with friends, mocking messages about how she totally made me choke and owned the night. Screenshots of my panicked face during the speech. She was already bragging. Step 2. Plant the seeds. At lunch, with relatives chatting around the big table, I casually mentioned how funny it was that my note cards had disappeared right before my turn. I didn't accuse anyone. I just said it with a half smile, letting it hang in the air. People frowned. They glanced at each other. They glanced at Hannah. Step 3. The trap. That evening, I pulled Hannah aside. You win, I told her quietly. You embarrassed me. Congratulations, but you better hope no one finds out what you did. She smirked. Who's gonna believe you? I shrugged. Doesn't matter. All I need is proof. Her face twitched, just slightly, but enough. She didn't know I already had it. The final move came 2 days later, during the family slideshow. Someone had put together a presentation of old photos, childhood pictures, family vacations, goofy moments. It was supposed to be sweet and funny. And it was, until my contribution came up. With a little tech magic, thank you, graphic design skills, I'd inserted screenshots of Hannah's group chat right into the slideshow. There it was, blown up on the big screen. She looked like she was about to cry. Totally bombed it. Best part was when I borrowed her cards. Girl didn't even notice, lol. Gasps filled the room. Heads turned. My parents' faces went pale. My grandparents looked confused. Hannah shot to her feet, stammering. That's not real. She faked it. But it was too late. The damage was done. Everyone had seen her own words, her own bragging. The golden child image shattered in an instant. Silence hung heavy, followed by whispers, followed by disapproving glares. For once, I wasn't the one who looked bad. The rest of the gathering was painfully awkward for Hannah. Every time she tried to speak, people avoided her eyes. Conversations shifted away. Even her closest cousins kept their distance. Meanwhile, people came up to me quietly, patting my shoulder, saying things like, "Sorry you had to go through that," and "You handled it better than I would have." I didn't gloat. I didn't rub it in. I didn't have to. Her humiliation was complete, and she'd orchestrated it all herself. For once, the spotlight wasn't on me. It was on her, and it burned. Revenge doesn't always come from grand gestures. Sometimes it comes from patience, from waiting for the right moment, from letting someone's own cruelty boomerang back into their face. Hannah tried to make me look bad in front of everyone. She wanted me small, embarrassed, broken. Instead, she revealed her true self, and everyone saw it. And the best part? I didn't have to scream. I didn't have to fight. I just had to let her set the trap, then show everyone the truth. That summer, my sister cried in private. I didn't see it, but I know she did. Her pride had been wounded, her reputation shattered. And I walked away taller than ever. For the first time in my life, I wasn't her shadow. I was the one who won. Like and subscribe. Share if this happened to you or someone you know.